Just before we really dive into this episode, can I say great job to the studio, but yet at the same time, I want to say they did the music. I get that. They did the opening. They put it together. But at the end of the day, this story belongs to it. It's in and of itself its own. It's doing this for the anime company. And what I mean by that is the story isn't being made into a good anime. The story's demanding it. That's what kind of quality the story's at so far. And I think that will most definitely hold through and through. Once again, I'm done saying, is this the real deal? Because I think this is the real deal. I'm saying it is the real deal. I can see it. I can see it. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. This show is the real deal. So right at the beginning of this episode, we actually find some stuff out about the Doug weapons. While we actually find out that Willem can actually use Doug weapons at the cost of his body really almost killing itself. And now, before we get into that, let's just talk about the whole Doug weapon situation. We see that one's like, I can probably use a Doug weapon even better than you. And we know that the fairies are, essentially supposed to be the only ones who can truly use Doug weapons, period, right? Even handle them. And we see that he actually, looks as if he has his own Doug weapon, right? And we see that he manhandles Holly. And we found out that Doug weapons actually use their enemy's strength against them. And so the stronger the enemy actually, the better off, you are. So essentially, kind of like an enemy that's quick, doesn't necessarily, attack with power per se, but they do attack with lethal strikes, but are quick and not as, forceful. Essentially, that's when you're at a disadvantage more so than when you're facing a big bad, essentially. But we still got to see that in the story progress and see how that pans out, because we actually do see that Willem was going up against someone very, very strong. We could clearly tell he is someone who could end the world. Willem had to put it on the line. And we find out that Willem actually used spells and stuff too. It wasn't just him battling with Doug weapons. And we find out that, he's like, I'll wake up in like a century from now. So that's how strong he was. Technically Willem, he sealed him away. He couldn't even defeat him technically, So that shows that Willem gets petrified next, and we see Willem actually didn't know the language. His human race was wiped out totally, and we see that he's actually being apologetic to people before he gets petrified, and after they find him frozen on ice. But before that, we see that he's actually telling all these people sorry. So it makes you wonder, okay, what's the secret about the Doug weapons? How can a human use a Doug weapon when fairies can, but are aka supposed to be the only ones that can? But at the same time, it does make sense in the sense that he's the only human left, so how would anyone know if humans could use Doug weapons to begin with and or whatnot? But I'm pretty sure they actually do state that humans can use Doug weapons, if I remember correctly. But I think they call humans the name that starts with an E. It twitch. I can't remember. I can't pronounce the name either, but it starts with the E, and I guess that's what they refer to humans as. And he woke up as the last human, and we see how scared he was and everything because he couldn't communicate. But that's where the talisman actually come in on this show, and it can tell you where you've been, which way is north, whenever you're messing with Holly's sword, and we'll get more into that in a second here. But it was cool to see how the talisman kind of put all this together. But it does make you wonder what kind of, tactics did Willem use against this monster that he fought, because he says, you will be cursed the rest of your life, yada, 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 you will die due to these curses. And we see he gets petrified originally, so he would have been, I guess, essentially dead, technically, quote unquote, if they would have never unpetrified him. But the thing is, he says you've been cursed due to these spells, so it makes you wonder, what kind of spells did this man use? Were they spells casted from the sword? Were they just spells, like magician spells, sorcerer spells, witches spells, like that kind of magic? So it makes you wonder, is Willem more than just a human too? But we don't know that. Essentially it probably just came from the sword. That's probably what that monster meant by spells and stuff. It probably came from the sword, I'm sure of it. But once again, it makes you wonder. You want to know more about Willem. Wonder how did he become an important icon upon Doug weapons, because obviously he's well inept with them, right? And it makes you wonder, who was the people he rode with? Who were the people he fought with? So it really just makes you wonder too. But we see that the curses actually, this is the craziest thing ever. Every bone in his body is apparently broken. Was that beforehand or afterwards? But we see that, was it Nicolotho, the one that actually essentially probably saved him? But she states, how are you even living like this? So therefore, it goes to show he's broken. He's in pieces. His organs barely function. All his bones are broken. Just think, all your bones are broken on a daily basis. And I guess the curse is essentially like he's supposed to live a life that he hates because he's in so much pain and all this other shit, right? So I mean, barely functioning organs and arm, leg, knees, everything broken in your body essentially, but yet you can't die. So essentially, he's like a zombie. That would be a terrible life, you know, especially if you can't heal. I mean, that's a terrible life, and we see that he passes out within just very little time of using that Doug weapon. So that's another thing you gotta take away from that. That's crazy. But to close this episode out, I just want to say the dialogue between Willem and Holly was awesome. I really loved that. I mean, the music, Studio Satellite did a great job on that. I mean, that's that. The music is fucking awesome. I believe the opening I heard was from somewhere else before, and they're just reusing it. But still, I mean, to swallow your pride and say that song fits our opening perfectly and take that song, yeah, I mean that's awesome. I mean, that's still good choreography. Doesn't matter if they had a band come in and make a song or not. That's still good choreography at the end of the day. But the insert songs, I think those are new songs, original songs for this show, I'm pretty sure. And god damn, they just set the mood so good. And My Hero Academia and Attack on Titan do the same thing, but it's just. It's like I don't know, it has that it factor, you know? It's like I don't know what you have, but you have got it. And that's what Suka and or World End or What Would You Do at the End of the World does. It has the it factor right now, and that's what ReZero had. It had the it factor, man. So, once again, great job Studio Satellite, but at the end of the day, great job World End. I mean, Studio Satellite isn't making you. You are making Studio Satellite. Sorry, I had to look away there. But Studio Satellite is not making this show, right? At least, I mean, you guys get what I'm saying here. Figurative, literally. But Studio Satellite is not making this anime. It's not making this story awesome. This story's demanding it because that's how good it is. But as always, guys, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow on Twitter X25, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Whew. This is gonna be tough. And in the spring, what is gonna go down as the best anime of spring 2017?